The doctor climbed a hill overlooking Balmoral Castle and took in the scene. The entire castle was ringing with troops. Some of them dug trenches, others had built walls of sandbags. Field guns had been set up in various key points. From behind the defenses, the soldiers were keeping up heavy and continuous fire. In the castle grounds stood a number of Judoon. They had not taken shelter and were returning their attack fire with their hand blasters. Occasionally one staggered under the impact of the rifle bullets, but didn't fall. The young officer in the advanced trenches outside the castle leapt to his feet. As the doctor watched, he yelled, "Come on, chaps. There's only a few of them. Charge!" The officer dashed forward. Light streaked from the Judoon's blasters and the man exploded in smoke and flame. Nobody followed him. Moments later, a lucky shot from a field gun scored a direct hit one of the Judoons. Its massive body was blown back into fragments. All this happened in a moment that the doctor stood watching, horrified. He hated war. Always had. "I've got to stop this," he muttered, and he ran down the hill towards the troops. As he came closer, a sentry spotted him and raised his rifle. "Halt!" Ignoring the rifle, the doctor ran up to him. "I need to see your commanding officer. I need to see him right now." The soldier looked doubtfully at him. "One of his precious scouts are you?" "Listen to me," the doctor said. It was surprising how much he sounded like Harry Carruthers. "I've got vital information for your commanding officer. Take me to him at once." The soldier had been in the army all his life, and he recognized the snap of authority in the doctor's voice. "Commander's tent is this way, sir." He led the doctor to the small tent pitched in the shelter of the nearby hill. The soldier went to open the entrance and saluted. "Gentlemen, with an important message, General," the soldier announced. "Insists on seeing you." "Wheel him in." The doctor entered the tent and found a tall, thin, uniformed figure with an untidy mustache. He had a map spread out on the table, and the general turned to peer at the doctor. "You're not one of my fellows?" "I'm a personal envoy of His Majesty," said the doctor. "The king. Where is he?" "In the castle you're attacking, and a pretty rotten job you're making of it." "I'll have you know, young fellow, I know a thing or two about sieges," said the general. "Why, when I was in South Africa during the Boer War, I found a party of scouts, just lads they were, to carry messages." The doctor cut him off. "We haven't got time for your memoir. Just tell me what's been happening here, General, from the beginning right to the end." Just like the centenary, the general found himself responding to the authority of the doctor's voice. "I got a message that something was badly wrong at Balmoral. Odd story about the whole place disappearing. When we arrived, the place was here all right, and the ground of the big fellows in black were setting up some kind of machinery outside. We challenged them. They ignored us. We opened fire. Score a lucky hit on their equipment and the field gun. Then more troops arrived on both sides, and we settled them down for a siege." The troops had arrived just as the Judoon were setting up the force field, thought the doctor. They had destroyed it by a fluke. "How's the battle going?" "Not too well," admitted the general. "Rifle bullets don't touch them. You need to direct hit with the field gun. We don't have enough of them. More on the way, of course, and more troops. But until they get here, they've got some damn nasty weapons. Some kind of heat ray. Who are they, anyway? Foreign troops?" "Very foreign," said the doctor. His mind was racing. "Now listen to me, General. The siege of yours is madness. You can't hope to defeat them. If you're going on annoying them, they'll bring up more troops. Do you want to see all your men killed?" The general was stunned. "So what do you suggest I do?" "Order a ceasefire and pull back your men. Let me go talk to them. I may be able to persuade them to leave peacefully." The general looked doubtful. "You want me to retreat?" No. "Well, maybe a technical retreat if that makes you feel better about it. At least it'll give us time for you to get more troops here." "Good thinking," said the general. "I'll do it." He raised his voice and shouted, "Messenger." The soldier ran in and saluted. The general gave his orders immediate ceasefire. "Pull your men back." The soldier ran from his tent. Minutes later, the doctor heard raised voices. "Ceasefire, General, ceasefire, pull back." "Thank you, General," said the doctor. "I'll be off then. Loads to do and not much time. Oh, and good luck with your Boy Scout maneuver. I'm sure it will do very well." "How did you know?" "I've only just started planning it." Lieutenant General Brennan Powell watched in astonishment as the doctor hurried from the tent. By the time the doctor reached the castle, the gunfire had stopped and the soldiers were pulling back. He walked up to the main entrance and found himself facing two Judoon sentries. They covered him with their blasters. "I'm the doctor," he said loudly. "I was here earlier, remember? I've sent the soldiers away. Now I want to see your captain. It concerns the honor of the Judoon, so hop to it and go on." There was a long pause, then one of the sentries raised his tube-shaped device and pointed it at the doctor. There was a series of beeps and lights shown. The Judoon checked the results of the scan. "Category not human," it announced before beckoning the doctor to follow. The Judoon trooper led the doctor into a small bare room, once a storeroom. It had clearly been taken over since the command post. A massive figure sat on the back of them, bending over a complex unit of alien machinery. Some kind of communication device, thought the doctor. The sentry spoke in a stream of alien words slowly, and the captain turned. For a moment the doctor stared back at the blank jetting helmet of the Judoon captain. The captain reached up and undid the locked clamps, pulling a heavy helmet off his head. The doctor was staring into the face of the Judoon. It was an impressive sight. The skin on the enormous head was thick, gray, and rigid, like that of a rhino. There were two horns, the higher one small, the lower larger, jutting from the center of his face. The nostrils were flared, and wide lipless mouth covered rows of yellow teeth that looked like tombstones. Two funny little ears crowded the high, doomed forehead. Most striking of all were the slanted brown eyes. They were strangely intelligent and somehow sad. They were steadily staring at the doctor for a moment. Curious creature, the Judoon, thought the doctor. Brutal and savage, yet without morals of their own. Now everything was depending on how well he had judged them. Waving the center away, the captain touched the translation device on his breastplate. "Earth English," the deep voice boomed. "Why have you returned, Doctor? The Peacemaker have decided you are an enemy. They demand your execution." The Judoon captain drew his blasters and pointed straight at the doctor. "Do you wish to die?"